Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to part 3. For those of you who haven't seen the other videos, this is my 1996 Integra project car that I bought back in November of 2022. It's 2024 now, but I'm just getting around to editing all of these videos. At this point, I've been driving the car for a minute since the last video. Finally had some time to finish fixing some things. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you have any suggestions for future changes or upgrades I could do to the car. Enjoy. I've been driving the Integra for a few weeks now, and there's an oil leak that's actually really bad. I believe it's just a valve cover gasket and an oil pan gasket, but it was leaking enough oil to actually throw an oil light saying it needed more. So not good, but I figured I've been driving it around long enough without the rear suspension done. It sits kind of funny, it sits angled. So today, because it's not frigid, I'm gonna do the rear suspension. I also really should fix this door because this is just bad. There it goes. I have purchased a lot of oil and speakers for the whole car because I gutted it. So I went ahead and put the rear ones in. It was really simple, just splicing these two cables together. You can look up online which ones are which. I can't get them out, but it's two cables. They plug right into the back of the speaker. And then I just kind of, I mean, it's pretty, I didn't even put all the bolts in. I just kind of stuck them in and tested them, and it worked great. Same thing with that side. You take the old wire, you cut off the top, strip the cables, find the matching ones, plug them into the speaker, and bolt them up. Easy enough. These are for the doors, which I still need to put the new doors on. Whatever, one thing at a time. So today, it's going to be the rear tires, rear suspension, because it is lowered. And I mean, it doesn't look bad lowered, but it doesn't ride well. So I believe there's only a few bolts. I'm gonna have to take this off, but this has made it handle quite a bit better. Here we go. I hope your week's going well so far. Mine's gone pretty good. You know, it's Saturday, so I'm kind of excited to get to kick back. Taking this wheel off and getting everything done was pretty straightforward, but I ran into an issue here. Okay, so I just discovered something that absolutely sucks. The bolt's fine. Not worried about the bolt. However, my lower control arm is not fine. That little rubbery looking thing, that's the bushing. It's crumpling apart. That's not supposed to do that. While it would be really nice to replace this stuff, I don't think it's safe to. It makes me question if the car is even safe to drive right now. So now I gotta decide, do I just order 2 new rear control arms? Well, I'm gonna order some new control arms. Rear control arms. Bought a new Fender. I'm gonna swap that out real quick. So swapping the fender is a relatively straightforward process. Kind of like last video, there's a couple tabs you got to remove near the front of the car, 4 bolts on top, and then there's 2 near the bottom of the door that you got to remove. This new fender looked pretty good, but the fit in it wasn't quite right, so I had to make some adjustments to it, bend it around a little bit. That's what you can see me doing here. The problem that you're about to see, I'll point out, is the fender's a little bit too close to the door. I had bad hinges, so that's something that I'm going to replace in just a second. I decided, because I messed up this panel while putting it on and it's still scraping down here, that I would go ahead and put my new hinges on so my door would stop sagging. And it's really easy. Once the fender's off, it's 2 bolts on the outside and 2 bolts on the inside. And once you get these loose, you can pretty much hand unscrew them. And then this little thing, been here its whole life. There we go. Here's the old one. I don't know why, but I feel like that might help a little bit. So I don't really think that's necessary, but it'll at least help it seal up or not be so hard to maneuver on there. Anyways, has a little rubber bushing which never fits correctly. Finally, 1 little screw, 2 little screws, and then just tightening them back up. There's a little bit of adjusting that'll need to be done to make sure these are in the right spot. Once you get that done, should be pretty easy. Wait a second. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Check that and see if that works. And if it doesn't, I'll make adjustments accordingly. So I got everything fitted up. I am Really disappointed with this. I actually don't even know if this can close. Let me check real quick. Oh gosh, dude. Really disappointed with this panel. It doesn't fit right, and the door scrapes it every time it opens, which is the same problem I have with this panel. Quality control is just awful. Good news is my door, I can just open now. Closes, sits right up, it's great. But this is a piece of junk. So I'm gonna return it and try one more time with another. And if that doesn't work, I'm gonna go get a donor car and get this replaced, because quality control is really bad. Really bad. In the meantime, while I waited for all the parts to come in, I raced the car, I did some tests, and that's what you're about to see now. Just got done cleaning the back out. Finally took a vacuum, vacuumed up all of the glass and debris and junk that was in here. Then I took a washcloth and I wiped every surface down, so it's significantly cleaner than it used to be. It gives me a good idea of how bad the rust is, or in this case isn't, because it's hardly there, and I don't think that that's really, I mean that's coming off, but whatever. It's actually not in that bad of shape. There's a little bit of rust down by that door, but it's all surface rust. Hardly anything on that side. Carpets are okay. I still think I want to replace them. But now I have a very nice clean base to continue working on this car from. Decided to go ahead and replace my valve cover gaskets because they've been leaking for a while in the corners, and it was actually like super simple. It just takes some time. It's 7 10mm bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whole thing comes off. You gotta get rid of the RTV gasket that sits in the corners there. I've already cleaned them all up. That took the longest part. That was about an hour to make sure it was all up. Swap the old gaskets out, put the new ones on. Gonna put that back in. Hopefully that fixes my oil leaks that have been streaming down the side of the engine. I really hope it's the valve cover gasket that's been leaking. I'll know soon because I'll have it back on. I'll be able to test it, see if that is what was causing the problem. And then my power steering pump has been having a lot of problems. Power steering has been going and I've been leaking a bunch of fluid. Well, let's see if you can see it in here. Right there. Anyways, there's a bolt way down in there. There's a bunch of power steering fluid coming out from around it. So that'll be the next job after we get this back on. But we'll have to see how this works first. So I've been driving the car for maybe 2 or 3 months now, and I never noticed this key detail. I don't know if you can see it. It has to do with the wheels. This wheel is not cambered, and this wheel is cambered pretty badly. I forgot that there's adjustable camber on these, and when I raise the car,
camber stayed locked in on this, which means I have pretty even tread wear, and it did not stay locked in on this, which means my tread wear is awful. So bad that you can actually see the fabric of the tire coming undone pretty severely. So I can't drive this anymore until I get that fixed. I can't get it fixed until I replace the tie rods and control arms. So I ordered a bunch of control arms and tie rods and stuff. Also, on this back side, this is still lowered. This was never raised back to the factory height like I was trying to do. That's because the control arms in the back, the bushing material, was so worn out that if I removed the bushings and took off the wheels, took off the control arms and tried to put the suspension on, I wouldn't be able to bolt them back in because the rubber would have disintegrated. So I bought some Trueheart rear suspension. It was only like $120 for control arms. They're polyurethane bushings, I believe. Well, maybe these are the hardened. No, these are the hardened rubber. But this should allow me to put my suspension on, raise the car up, and then I have some K-Tune suspension coming in soon for the front. So let's go ahead and see if I can put this on. Also, for doing the majority of the work on my car, I've just been using this Craftsman, which it's worked. So these are all the bolts for my interior and stuff. It's worked good, but I'm kind of limited in what I can do. So while I was on vacation, funny enough, my transmission broke down. The hydraulic system in it completely died, and I didn't have any tools with me. So I bought that, which is this on steroids. So I should have everything I need to continue working on this car. It should be a lot easier than before too. I got a belt squeak. This is what went out. My clutch master cylinder went out. So I had to replace that. I believe there's a way to tune how tight it is, which I would like to do because it's not bad, it's just a little soft. So was the master cylinder that goes through the firewall right there. And it was my slave cylinder, which is the thing with the little nipple sticking out. Since I've replaced the head gasket, or the valve cover gasket, there's no more oil leaks, but I'm still burning oil pretty bad. I'm still burning oil when I drive it hard, and one of my cylinders still has oil getting in it. I'm not sure where it's getting in. I'm gonna have to research that because I replaced every seal in here.
So finally, after several months of waiting and just driving the car with bad control arms and not actually lifting the car and fixing all these things, I'm finally gonna do it.
Definitely need a new exhaust. The reason this thing is so loud is because I got a break in it somewhere. It's just obnoxious. Kind of like it though. It looks like there were aftermarket control arms of some type on it, but you'll notice here that is the bushing. It's one of the reasons my ride is so bad. Gotta upgrade the sway bar at some point, but 1, 2, 3, maybe 4.
If you end up doing this on your own car, keep in mind if your bushings aren't completely shot, all of this stuff will come out easier. Mine were kind of destroyed, so it was extra difficult.
That's not cool. Oh my gosh, look. So unfortunately, I just discovered some other bad stuff with this, but the bushing is cracked. It's not horrible, but it's cracked. And then whatever the crap that is, that thing is cracked to bits. That looks really important, and it looks like it might be press fitted into this arm. That seems like a big job, but it's something that I have to fix. I'm not gonna do it right now. I don't think I need to. Oh my gosh, look. That's supposed to stay, oh my, holy cow. That's not supposed to move like that. Yikes. Yeah, that makes me feel real confident. Okay, I'm going to take off the suspension and fix this lower control arm, but without a doubt, I'm gonna need a new sway bar. I don't even know if it's safe to drive without getting that other part replaced.
So up until this point, I had no idea that trailing arm bushings were a thing. So I ended up doing some research later on, you'll see that, and ordered some. Those get done, I believe, in the next video. The hardest part of this job is actually fitting the control arm to the frame and the lower knuckle or rear attachment point. I don't actually know what it's called to the car. The trick is to do the knuckle on the outside of the car first, then bolt it to the frame, then put the suspension on. But make sure that the suspension is over the control arm when you're doing this, otherwise you're gonna get stuck.
That was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. Trying to get that suspension piece on, I scratched and beat the crap out of this thing. The sway bar goes in there. I don't know if that's right, but that's what it's gonna be. Yeah, I beat the crap out of this car. I'm gonna wait till it's under load to tighten everything up. It's better, it just doesn't look that good because of how I did it. I am genuinely afraid for this other side, but I'm gonna skip the process of doing that. Just show you what it looks like all finished. All right, everything's on. It looks significantly less sporty. It looks a lot more like a regular car. That's okay for now. This will be a little more comfortable to drive. It definitely doesn't look nearly as sporty. Back lifted like that, I mean, you got a lot of clearance under there, which for now is okay. Coilovers are in the plans for the future. One thing I'm noticing that's not cool is because the rear wheels were cambered before to sit out, now they're sitting in. See how that kind of sits in? Same thing over there, not as bad. So it's gonna need some love. I'm gonna take it for a drive and see how it goes. I'll tell you right away, it rides so much better. Even though it's kind of like pretty similar to stocks, rides better. It feels more level. It's because it is. I need to get new trailing arms, which I think are those pieces that were like super worn out. And I need to get rear camber arms, the upper control arms. I don't think they're control arms, but they hold the wheel in. It looks like he did the washer trick to give it camber when you lower it, but I'd rather just order the part. I think that'd be nice. It definitely does not feel nearly as handling. She's all put back together. I need to get new rims, new wheels, probably coilovers because the rear suspension is not it. But it is kind of cool seeing some of the silver back there.
There's a lot more work that gets done to the car in the next video and some more testing, and we finally get new rims. I don't know if that's going to be next time or the following, but it makes the car look so much better. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please let me know, and thank you everyone for watching. Next episode drops Saturday. Stay tuned. Peace, guys.